Hey, welcome back to another out of this world story from Stories on Route. It's a married couple. My spouse, 38 years old, and I have been together for 20 years. Together, we have two children, a daughter, teen, and a son, 17. Throughout my darkest hours, my hubby's been there for me, providing unwavering support. There were also difficult times in our marriage. I had never known what it was like to be a teenager since I became pregnant at an early age. Had an affair with my spouse twice while we were newlyweds. She was Texan. A year and a half ago, I had an AFA in the upper, with my ex-boyfriend. Then another year ago, I had an EA with an internet stranger. We tied the knot at a young age, and I still feel bad about the decision I made. We had to sign a document outlining how our assets would be divided in the event of a future divorce, but he did forgive me for the affair. I could see why he had to act that way, and I agreed with him. We began over and had a wonderful marriage. I was using drugs when I cheated, so he really pushed me to come clean. We purchased a home, and he received a promotion. He was the one who organized our travels and always told me to do what I loved. That's right. As a father figure to our children, he pitched in with household tasks. I was told I had uterine cancer about 7 years ago. He sobbed uncontrollably when the doctor told us he had cancer. I knew then and there how much he cares for me. Removal of my uterus was an invasive surgical procedure. Following my operation, he treated me like a little girl. He prepared my breakfast, placed my lunch order, and prepared my supper. He forbade me from doing any kind of job, even around the home, for a solid 6 months. And that comes in, and to top it all off, he did all the cooking for the kids. Can't help but think that I would have made it through those times had he happened there. He is the one for me, and I can't fathom a world without him. For his birthday surprise, a massive collage documenting his life's journey. I accessed his Facebook account and unlocked his phone last night. As he slept, his two Facebook profiles that I noticed. The first one was his usual one, while the second one had a different name. I discovered texts written to his old colleague on the other account. The two of them were engaging in sexting. I took screenshots of the whole thing and emailed them to my phone without reading them. I then erased the images from his phone and set it aside. I cried myself to sleep because I couldn't stop thinking about it. I woke up with obviously puffy eyes. When he inquired about my well-being, I assured him that I was doing great. Before he departed for work, he kissed my forehead. I read every word of their talk after our younger son departed for school by opening the screenshots. 6 months ago, messages were dated. They were discussing nakedness, sex accidents, and things they would do to each other as I scrolled up. The thought of that made me nauseous. Happy 3-year anniversary was the greeting I noticed as I scrolled down. For some reason, reading it made me feel like I was about to have a panic attack, crying on the floor. It was all I did. Recess from year out, he opened up to her about my adultery in the past and how it still haunts him, but that when he's with her, he can finally relax and enjoy ourselves. First, we went so far as to say that he has been enduring every minute of our intimacy for the last 18 years because it brings him physical gratification. But when we are personal with her, there's profound emotional connection. He remained married to me for the sake of our children, but he plans to leave me as soon as they attend college. They had done so far as to arrange for a wedding. It seems like everything in my life is ruined in a single day. We seemed like a happy family to me. In the span of a single day, my whole universe crumbled. Even though I had hoped to spend my golden years with him, I'm finding that it's too lonely. It seems like my whole existence was a mirage. My body is starting to feel dead, as if someone poaching my spirit. I assumed he would have moved on from the error I committed 14 years ago, but he has been patiently suffering the brunt of my foolishness for far too long. He is my soulmate, and I know it. I can't imagine my life without him. How can I proceed? Because of the notion of his leaving, I've been having suicidal thoughts. 5 hours have passed since I perused the text. First, my only want is to pass away with him as my spouse at my side rather than my own. Am I supposed to keep my feelings and opinions to myself? Over the last several years, I've been oblivious to the extent to which my betrayal caused him anguish. My own being is bound to him, and I know it would be self-centered of me to try to make him feel guilty. I would prefer death over life, alone or with another person if he deserts me. I am bewildered and unsure about my next move. I would really appreciate any advice you have that might spare our connection. I'm sorry, or first observer. This is a disaster. OP say you should proceed. with your anniversary present. In my opinion, give it your all. Share with him your feelings before you found the texts, and how much he means to you. Warn him that you want to see him into old age. Show extreme emotion. Then inquire later that night as to whether he believed your words. If he is interested in spending his golden years with you, you should ask him. After he responds, provide him with the screenshots and assure him that your desire to stay with him remains unchanged. Regardless of his affair, I hope you still love him as much as you did when you realized how he felt all those years ago. Is whatever the case may be, OP, you are more important to him than he is to you. Keep it in mind. You currently have two main concerns. No, one, you know, two, your children. Your children rely on you. Thus, you should always come first. We will always need our parents, no matter how old we become. Try taking an online class, picking up a new interest, or just getting out of the house more often. And disregard your spouse. Yes, you cheated at that time, but he should have put in the work if he was going to return and attempt again. He wasn't. Perhaps he was attempting to shield the children from harm, but it's debatable. Still, they won't benefit from this as they'll realize their whole lives have been deceived. See a therapist, reach out to loved ones, and explain what happened. I'm sorry. Your suffering is genuine, and I don't mean to downplay it. However, you need to pause for a while and think about what your spouse has gone through. It is obvious that your views on the process of reconciliation vary greatly from his, not out of the ordinary. Because the cheat is prepared to go on, the deceived find it very difficult. The victim of betrayal, however, may feel they must keep quiet for fear of retaliation from the cheater. Stupid betrayed person eats terrible sandwich. Listen, you can't keep calling it an error. I call that minimization. That wasn't an error. There had been treachery. The emotions you're experiencing right now are the same ones he's felt for the last 14 years. Try to put yourself in his shoes for a moment. Instead of dumping your problems on him, you could start by telling him you get it now and showing true sorrow and compassion. Fourth remark, from what you said, he informed her that he was just staying with you temporarily while you raised your children, and that he intended to depart once they started college. He adds that your adultery is still fresh in his mind and that he finds it painful. He still gets flashbacks about it now. If what you said is correct, I still don't know if he felt the way you described in the days leading up to your diagnosis, or in any other similar situation. You made a tremendous error of judgment by cheating on him after you were married, but he stuck with you because he wanted to raise their children. Since he's been wounded and sad, and he's found hope or a future with this coworker. I feel compelled to tell you that you should not keep this a secret because of the suicidal ideas. I suggest contacting or seeing a therapist or counselor as a first step. Although I do not believe it is feasible to remain together, I wish you both the best in whatever direction any perspective talks about this matter may take you whenever you are able to get the treatment you need to feel more normal. Take a chance on reconciliation. Remind him that you know the anguish he went through when you treated your marriage with disdain many years ago. You should express your desire to avoid losing him and provide him ways that you and he can overcome this obstacle and maybe even make up. Visit MC, make it clear to him that you've changed for the better. If he's still determined to leave you after this, then no one can stop him. I agree with him. You may hold on to your marriage to the very end if you want to, but the harsh reality is that you can't make him love you. First, not censoring the thoughts of suicide. Direct your efforts on the children. Do not let yourself be crushed by your husband's refusal to reconcile. There are repercussions to your acts, and we are unable to prevent. Please do not attempt self-harm or have suicidal thoughts. Instead, seek professional counseling. With you want internet support, keep updating or talking with this on Reddit. Best wishes, and then nowhere and beside best wishes, right? So fifth point, toning Hermione wandered to an English lesson I took many years ago because of this. Here's where a highly analytical discussion of irony fits in. My opinion, please don't take my observations on what seems to be happening from an outsider's point of view as an attempt to trash on you. We're going to one definition of irony found in a brief Google search. A literary technique originally used in Greek tragedy by which the full significance of a character's words or actions are clear to the audience or reader, although unknown to the character. Your choice to cheat over 15 years ago has finally had all of its repercussions and importance revealed. You are only now beginning to comprehend the reality of your husband's situation. How much does he value? Yes. Your health, anything that concerns him? Yes. As a couple, are you able to manage a home and raise children effectively? It seems as though you do. He implied herself. Does he confide in you about his most private anxieties and weaknesses, though? No. You failed to notice its absence for all those years, yet that is what has been lacking. Have you ever considered seeing a marital counselor? Doing that 15 years ago could have been beneficial. The longer the damage has festered, the less effective marital therapy will be, in my opinion. Still, it's worth thinking about as a starting point. Rossi has to leave. And you must, when he has his sights set on another woman. I don't think it's worth fighting for your marriage or the future of both of you. As a couple, now he's following in your footsteps after you cheated years ago. Having everything pulled out from under you in an instant, just as he did, must be really painful for you right now. Time is necessary. Got to see someone right now. If you're worried about hurting yourself, it's best to see a therapist or visit a hospital. Keep your children in mind because they are so little. They rely on their mom. No matter what you did in the past, if anything were to happen to you, they would be crushed. Be prepared for their grief and anger when kids find out both of their parents have been unfaithful. In the event of a divorce, you and your spouse will have to work everything out jointly. We're beyond now. The wisest course of action would be to avoid casting either of you in a negative light or dividing the children along ideological lines. First, focus on your children instead of your spouse for the time being. Organize yourself, consult an attorney, and attempt a calm separation if at all possible. Obtaining the necessary mental health assistance is of utmost importance. Collaborate with others. Her teen in a 4-5. It seems like he's been playing games with you and plans to leave you once the kids go to college. Therefore, I really don't believe your relationship can work. My recommendation is that you take stock of your relationship so far and identify the genuine from the fake parts of your spouse. I beg you, if you feel this is a healthy relationship, to have a conversation with your spouse about the possibility of reconciliation. But if you're a skeptic and believe it's been a hoax the whole time, the mother stays at home and says, those kids are really young, maybe 15 and younger, so cannot hold a steady work due to a lack of experience or the possibility of a divorce. My advice is to act it out and make use of him just as he is with you. Tell him you wish to enroll in classes at the local community college, as he seems to be supportive of your interests. If he inquires, just explain that I am steadfast in a few things while in university. Do yourself a favor and get a degree that will really help you get a job after finishing college. And getting a job, you'll be able to choose between hold off till the kids are old enough to go to college. There's nothing stopping you from divorcing him if you can have a solid career before you tie the knot. Also, it's harmful and hurtful to think of terminating it. So please seek treatment. Please take stock of the situation and do what's best for your family. Sorry you and your spouse are going through this. I wish you the best of luck.